Hello everyone, Crazy Caps here. Now I have been wanting to make this video for a while. I've put it off for a decent bit of time because, many things. I did want to wait until I got a new phone to record this because this phone's definitely on its dying legs, but didn't end up waiting that long. The main reason I'm doing it now is a lot's been happening lately in terms of the collecting. So this is my game, movie, and plush collection. 2023. Well, March 2023. I've been meaning to make an update to my 2021 video for some time, and we're doing it now. And I should start with the biggest thing. The fact that this floor is a disaster. Anyone who watched the 2021 video will know that this was a mess of cords. Now, obviously, there's still some controllers down there. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. Uh, Essentially, finally pulled this whole thing out, rearranged all the cords, now it all feeds into the back. Even moved the Wii U. I think I have 2 new consoles since last time. Well, actually 3. I think 3 new consoles. So that's the other big thing. Super Nintendo, Genesis. I have those, and the circumstances for getting those are pretty crazy. I talked about this on Twitter, but essentially, I have 2 sides to my family, as most people do, and on my, I live on my mom's side of the family with my mom, my granddad, my grandma, and on my other side, I have my mama, my papa, that's what I call them, and we like to visit them every few months. And over the last few years, every, few times I'll go over there, I'll mention something about, whether it be something from my childhood or my uncle's old game collection that might still be in there. And they said they thought they might have some of that stuff, but they didn't know. They'd have to look, and they have a lot of stuff they'd have to look through in storage. Go there on my 21st birthday. It's a bit of a late visit because of the way my sleep schedule is. But they pull out a Super Nintendo and a Genesis after doing all the birthday stuff, along with games for each of them. Not that many Genesis games, I just got those, but plenty of Super Nintendo games. A lot of big ones. I'll go over them more once I get to going over the shelf. But yeah, it's a pretty great selection of games. Both consoles work. They both had 2 controllers. Now, both Super Nintendo controllers work perfectly. The Genesis controllers didn't. One of them had a broken B button, and one of them, the only thing that worked was C, and even then it barely worked. You had to push really hard. And for whatever reason, I couldn't get a spin dash off in Sonic 2 or Sonic 3, which are 2 of the games that it came with. But yesterday I went through the trouble of fixing both controllers, and now they work perfectly fine. It's the first time I've ever done something like that. Even went and cleaned my Dreamcast's disc laser, and now it works fine. So I was a bit of a handyman yesterday. So you can see all the stuff I've done and why I think it's a good time to update this. I want to add, I'm not sure if those are permanent additions to the collection, the Super Nintendo and Genesis, because they're my uncle's, and simply put, we don't know if he'll want them back or not. I've been over there twice, and we don't know. I'm hoping I get to keep them, but I might not. But in case I don't, this is the chance to show them off as a thing I have. Also, cleared out this left shelf. Used to be to where a lot of those games were over there. Now this over here is pretty much entirely for controllers. And I have so many consoles that there's not enough room in here for all the controllers, which is funny. Also got this old Super Nintendo cleaning kit. I think it's mostly pretty dirty. Decided to bring out my Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt cartridge for display. It's been busy in the collection. Getting a lot of games, some very lucky circumstances, a whole rearrangement of everything. But let's actually get to I guess I'll start with the consoles because it's a lot now. I moved the Switch over onto that shelf because having it on the floor is not practical. Having it right there isn't practical because it blocks the screen a little. Can't really put it anywhere in there. It's all filled up in there. So I decided to just put it over there for now. Used to have it on a chair, but that's kind of a pain. Still have the convoluted HDMI splitter set up now. I even have an AV one for the Super Nintendo. Genesis 1 is Genesis 2 is Super Nintendo. Yeah. Unfortunately, still, there are some issues with this HDMI setup I have. Sometimes the audio will cut out for a few seconds whenever I'm playing something. I'm not sure what in this cabal of cables is causing that problem. But, something is. But, yeah, have a lot of consoles. I should mention the other one, the Xbox 360. I bought that one from a friend for a little bit of money. Mainly for a certain Let's Play, but we'll get to that when we get to the games on the shelf. Yeah, I think I should start doing that, shouldn't I? So, for the record, it's been 2 years since that last video. I don't remember what I went over in that video, so there may be some repeat topics here. Yeah, cleared out the shelf. There used to be a bunch of books and photos. I moved most of the photos up here, some of them down there. And the books are mostly a place I won't be showing because it's not very pretty to look at. So, PlayStation 3 got a Sonic Unleashed here. Have never finished that game. I do not like that game. Which is funny because it's sitting right next to Sonic 06, which I don't like that game either. I like it less. But for whatever reason, I finished that one and not Unleashed. Of course, PlayStation 3 Wally, the Little Big Planet games I still need to get to. Yeah, that's essentially the story of PS3. It's like, I have a decent amount of PS3 games. I have a decent amount of them I want to play. But, God forbid I actually get to them. GoldenEye and 007 Legends, because I have all the Bond games. These are probably going to be the last ones I play, simply because I'm going to go in release order. So far, I've only done Agent Under Fire on Xbox. And I won't do the ones on Xbox, and I'll probably do the ones on N64 and PS1, and then go to PS3. Cars 2, which is a way better game than it has any right to be. This is actually a very good kart racer for the PlayStation 3. Probably the best one. Besides maybe like Sonic and All-Stars Transformed, but I have that on PC. Ico and Shadow of the Colossus. I've heard great things about both of those games. Haven't gotten to it. Kingdom Hearts. Tried that once many years ago, and I could not get down with the controls. I need to give it another go at some point, though. Minecraft Story Mode. This is an old one. Wonder if those hold up at all. Persona 5. Great game, but because of its length, it's very hard for me to finish. And now there's the multi-platform release, so I'll probably end up having to buy it again on PC to hopefully play it there. But it's like over 100 hours long, and it's hard to justify playing through a game that's that long. I actually skipped over the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection there. Pretty much every single game in the series, whenever I want to get to those. Persona 5. I already went over that one. PlayStation All-Stars. That was one of the first games I got for my PS3, and I played it for a few sessions, and I haven't played it in years, because it is just inferior to Smash Brothers. And why play that when we can just play Smash Brothers? Ratchet and Clank Collection, got that one. I think I had just gotten that one in the last collection video. I started on the first game, but only started. Alright, sorry for the cut. Same issue as last time. I have a 10-minute time limit on each video clip, so it was around 9 minutes, so I just went and stopped it. Back to Ratchet and Clank. I've started on the first game, played the first couple of hours of it, and I really enjoy it so far. It's a long series to get through. Like, I want to get through it, but it'll probably take me some time. Rayman Origins. That game is amazing. I love it, and I have not finished it on that. Like, I think I've owned pretty much every version of the game, actually. I own it on PC. I originally owned it on Wii. The first time I beat the game was when I got it again on 3DS. And I have it on PS3. The only version I've never gotten is the 360 version. But But yeah, so at some point I'd like to play that again. It's been years, but I really love that game. 2 Batman Arkham games, Arkham Asylum, Arkham Origins. Those 2 games I bought a while ago, still haven't gotten into them, and if I ever do, it'll probably be the PC versions, which I have free through Epic Games. And Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Back when I was trying to get into those games, got what the most acclaimed ones were, which are Black Ops 2, and I got that on Wii U, and I got Modern Warfare 2 on PS3, and couldn't ever really get into them. I just never got good at them. Playing online, I always get slaughtered. I never really had an opportunity to get better at those games. And I'm not that attached to first-person shooters as a genre. So now my only PS2 game, 24 the game. I got really into 24 with my mom, and hearing that there was a game, I had to play it on my modded PS3, and it was not with this copy. I bought this after I beat the game, just to feel better about myself. You know, it's an okay game. Pretty difficult, for me anyway. It's a bit clumsy, but I had fun with it. Now, the jewel cases. First PS1, which I gotta say, fuck these cases. I hate these so much. They fall apart so easily. And I've never gotten lucky with any system that uses these, and you'll see a lot of these aren't in the best shape. Now, you might be wondering what this one is. Well, let's see if I can get it out here. Bubsy 3D. Only the finest games in this collection. What can I say? I like platformers, and I like to have some really bad games sometimes, and Bubsy 3D is just an essential. A better game, Pac-Man World 20th Anniversary. Never beat the game on that version. I beat the remake that came out last year. Had a lot of fun with that, but never beat this one because of Anubis Rex, but it's still a really great game. Phantom Menace, not good, but it's a Star Wars game, and I want to beat it at some point. Tetris Plus, that's a new edition since last time, I believe. And I like Tetris, and this has a pretty neat puzzle mode that's pretty difficult, but I find it pretty cool. Tomorrow Never Dies, which has a broken case. Thankfully you can't see that, but yeah, that's one of the PlayStation 1 Bond games. Still Need The World's Not Enough. I think I actually had it at one point, but I'm missing. And here is my currently only PC jewel case game. Disney's Power Play video game action for the PC, Toy Story. I got this because it was like $3. It's a really cheap way to get the game. This was before I got my Genesis and Super Nintendo. If I had known I was getting those, I would have waited and gotten like the Genesis version, but I played through the game on Genesis. It's it's okay, but it's way more difficult than it has any right to be. Now for the Dreamcast games, which I don't believe I displayed last time. Crazy Taxi. It's Crazy Taxi. Personally, I don't really play that version of it much now. I have a Crazy Taxi 3. Probably could sell it, but it's probably not worth the effort. Echo the Dolphin. Defender of the Future, I believe it's called. And this is a game I need to still play at some point. I can say that with most of these Dreamcast games. Power Stone, though. Love this game. Really need to play this more often. It's a fantastic fighting game, and I learned apparently this game shot up so much to where it's one of the most expensive games I own now. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy to have it. It's not in amazing condition. Like, it's one of these jewel cases, so it's pretty beat up. But to my knowledge, the game should still play. Yeah, see, there it goes. There it comes apart. See, these cases are the worst. They just come apart so easily. Ugh. It'd be nice if my video would stay focused, too. But yeah. So the case isn't in great shape, but it's a $90 game to have that case. So I'm just happy to still have it. Let me put it back. Rayman 2, one of my favorite 3D platformers of all time. Dreamcast version is the best version. Haven't beaten it on the Dreamcast, though. I've only beaten this on 3DS. Don't know. Actually, I think I do still have that. I think I still do have my 3DS copy of the game. But, yeah. Really love Rayman 2. Really glad to have the Dreamcast version. It's the best version of the game. Ubisoft should really get on giving us a better version of this, because a game like this should not be having its best version stuck on the Sega Dreamcast. It shouldn't. But yeah, and then Shenmue, which, thanks to the HD remaster, I really have no reason to own this. And because of some quirks in my Dreamcast, I can't even really play that one anyway, because my Dreamcast does not... Oh. The way I had to fix part of my Dreamcast was... I used tape to convince it that the disc tray is always closed. So that means any games that have multiple discs are pretty much unplayable on it. Unless I were to try and figure something out, but... Dreamcast is a finicky thing to work on. And then lastly, Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation, which I got before I got all the games on Steam. It's probably how I'll play them, but I don't know. Depending on quirks with the PC version, I might eventually play this on Dreamcast, but that's some time in the future. Now, my 2 Game Boy games. I have some other Game Boy games, but they're not really any ones I care about. Most of the ones I cared about went missing, because they're Game Boy games, and they go missing if you don't have them in cases. Henceforth, the cases. I bought, Mario Land 2 I bought with the case. It came with this little custom case. It's essentially a DS case molded to fit, Game Boy games. Yeah. Early experiences aren't the best. I bought this, and it came with the case on eBay. This, Mario Land, I've had Mario Land for a while, but I had to get the case for it. And so it was my first time ever ordering from custom game cases. I order it, and I get a case for Dr. Mario. It was very clearly meant to be Super Mario Land, but I got a Dr. Mario. So I had to tell them, like, hey, guys, this is the wrong one. And so, and they sent the right one, to give them credit, and it was smooth from there, but it was just, why did that happen? How does that happen? I don't get how that happens. But either way, actually talking about those games, I think they're pretty good handheld Mario games. I think they, honestly, both of them I think are better than the first Mario game on NES, which I think is impressive. I think Mario Land 1 has some very good level design. Mario Land 2 I think goes a little too above and beyond for what the Game Boy can handle. It feels a little weird, the controls, they're just a little too floaty, the sprites are too big. I know I'm not with the majority on that one, but I think Mario Land 1 is the better game, but I still really liked both games. Alright, now the Super Nintendo games, and as you can see, quite a few of them. I believe it's 20 games I got. I have added a couple to the set since. Yeah, and you'll notice they're in nice condition. Like, just take this one for an example. This is Boxing Legends of the Ring. And it's not in perfect condition, but look on eBay and you'll see how most Super Nintendo games are. Nothing's ever torn with these labels. That's the big thing. These labels are all perfectly intact, which is great. And also, a few of them even came with the protective sleeves, which were not on the games I would have them on, so I switched them up. Because, obviously, this is not my collection, so there's certain games in here that aren't necessarily my thing. Boxing Legends of the Ring, Captain America and the Avengers, those two are just not games I'm too fascinated by. Donkey Kong Country 2, though. For one, I'm surprised that they only had 2, and not the first game, but look how nice this copy of Donkey Kong Country 2 is. I just played through this game. I love this game. This game's really good. It has its issues. I think some of the levels are bad. Again, the levels involving wind, I think, are a pain. But it's a really fun game. I really like it. It has a great soundtrack. And it's in really nice condition. And it works. And it's Donkey Kong Country 2. And, spoiler alert, we're not done yet here. So we have the original F-Zero, which is not, once again, not the game I would particularly add to my set. It's not in as good condition as some of the others, but still, it's a decent shape copy of F-Zero. And I mean, it's a good game. It's just, hasn't aged perfectly, but I haven't played it much. This one's interesting to me. This one is Metal Combat Falcon's Revenge, developed by Intelligent Systems. Now you'll notice, for the Super Scope. So either they had a Super Scope, or they had a game that required it, and I guess that's why it's probably the most immaculate game in this set. I'm not sure the story behind this, but I'm not sure I want to buy a Super Scope just to try it. I mean, Super Scopes are not cheap, and I would need a CRT television, which, to be fair, I've been meaning to get my games in a CRT television, my old ones anyway, for a while, but hasn't happened. Saturday Night Slam Masters, a boxing game, or a wrestling game that's apparently from Capcom, apparently pretty good. That's a game to try with Billy and Cliff the next time they come over. This one, I'm surprised by how much this one's worth. I'm convinced half of it is just the red cartridge. Spider-Man and Venom Maximum Carnage. I mean, I heard some people actually say this is a pretty good beat-em-up, but it's one player. And it's a beat-em-up, which is not a genre I particularly care for, so it's going to stay in the shelf. However, there is one game that was pretty awesome to be in here. I'm getting a real kick out of it with my mom. It's been a great co-op game. I would have never played it had it not been in this set, and that is Sunset Riders. Now, this game actually goes for a pretty penny nowadays. This is a $90 Super Nintendo game. I did not know that when I got this. And, I mean, I'm glad that I got it through these circumstances because it's an excellent game. I mean, really, it's so much fun. I mean, it's very, very difficult. Sometimes it feels a little unfair, but it's essentially a run and gun game made by Konami. How can you go wrong with that? It's a lot of fun. I really recommend looking up videos on it if a run and gun from Konami sounds interesting to you. Another one that I'm surprised it goes for how much it does considering the re-releases, but Super Castlevania 4. This goes pretty decent amount of money, and I've been wanting to try the Castlevania games for a while, but haven't gotten to it. But hoping to get to this one relatively soon. And then, I mean, as a Mario fan, this was the special part. I'll skip to the next shelf too for this one, because one of them is unfortunately down here because of the way these are sorted. Let's see if I can stack them. Why don't we? So, every Super Mario game for the Super Nintendo is in here. Every single one of them. Now, I did say Super Mario. There's no Mario Paint. There's no Mario and Wario, which is a Japanese game, so it better not be in here. That'd be really confusing. But Super Mario Kart, Super Mario All-Star, Super Mario World, and Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. All in great shape. As you can see, they all work. And as a big Mario fan, that makes me pretty damn happy. I'm amazed that all of these were in the set. I mean, that's some luck there. That's some really good luck, because these games aren't necessarily, the easiest. Well, most of them aren't too expensive. I'm surprised by how much Mario Kart goes for. That's around $30. It's the second most expensive of these games. Yoshi's Island's around the $40 to $50. So, very happy to have Yoshi's Island. This is a long and storied game with me, because it's one of the first games I ever played on my YouTube channel, emulating it via a ROM, totally not legally, and now I have it, and I still have never finished this game, and I really need to. So, a few more that aren't necessarily my cup of tea. They're not very well lit there. The Tick and Tournament Fighters. Tournament Fighters is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. It's essentially a fighting game. I think the Tick is a beat 'em up. Once again, not really my sort of game. That's the first one I bought there, Wheel of Fortune Deluxe Edition, for like $4, just because I wanted to get another Super Nintendo game. I shouldn't have. It is a surprisingly dull version of Wheel of Fortune. You'll notice with the label, this is what other Super Nintendo games will look like. These are in such good condition. And this is what normally buying a Super Nintendo game is. Ugly. Stupid torn labels and stickers and stuff. Look at this gunk. and it's not good. It's not a good version of Wheel of Fortune. Then there's like 5 wrestling games here. WWF Raw, Royal Rumble, Super WrestleMania, WrestleMania Arcade Game. That's not counting the Capcom one from earlier. I think my uncle was into wrestling games. It's just a hunch here. And since my cousins are, that'll be a great opportunity to try them out. Another game I've heard great things about, Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Want to try that one co-op. Then Zoop. The second one I bought. Probably shouldn't have bought it. It's an okay puzzle game. It's sort of fun. It's just innate Tetris. Then the Genesis games, which are not as impressive of a library. Yes, my uncle was less into the Genesis. Though one game, it's not in the shelf currently. It's in the Genesis. I'm not sure if you can see it well. Miss Pac-Man. That I find very fascinating. For one, the fact that they released a Miss Pac-Man game for this generation of consoles, and it's just Miss Pac-Man. But also that it's like a really cool version of it. Because you can play 2-player at the same time. And work together to clear mazes. And that's actually really cool. I find that really cool. So me and Mom are probably going to get a real kick out of that because she loves Miss Pac-Man. And, I mean, I'm more of a Super Pac-Man type of guy. But I like Miss Pac-Man as well. And we're going to have fun with that one. I think that game was like half of my motivation for fixing the controller. Because I probably could have played the games without the B button on the other controller. But I really wanted to fix both of them. So they have 2 players. But yeah, Genesis games. Yeah, most of these I'm not too in love with. Also, this one, I don't know why there's no spine on Wheel of Fortune for the Genesis, and this is pretty much the same as that shitty Super Nintendo one I bought. Even more reason for me to not have bought it. It has no music. It has 0 music except for like the title screen and credits, which is absolutely baffling. But yeah, I have Sonic 2, I have Sonic 3. To be fair, a very mistreated Sonic 2. Look at this poor boy. They massacred my boy. But, which is insane to compare to the absolute impeccable condition most of those Super Nintendo games are in. Yeah. I want to quickly say I do want to buy games for both systems. Plenty of multiplats are better on Genesis, so stuff like Pitfall the Mayan Adventure, Mickey Mania. There's a couple exclusives like Rocket Knight Adventures that I want to get. There's Arrow the Acrobat. I actually have another Super Nintendo game coming in the mail, Speedy Gonzales, Los Gatos Banditos, because of the Sonic 4 hack that I played when I was younger. I'm really curious to see what the original game's like on that one. But yeah, I have plans. I want to get the other Donkey Kong Country games. I want to get the Super Star Wars games. I want to get that Indiana Jones game that looks pretty cool for the Super Nintendo. I want to get a lot of the 2D platformers. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to get for both of these systems. I'm going to fill out those libraries. Now, real quickly, GameCube, most of these bit the dust, went away. Finding Nemo, I bought for $1. It was worth $1. Because that's the only reason I have this is just because it fascinates me how terrible of a version of this game it is. Luigi's Mansion, absolute classic. All the Mario Party games, I don't actually have the discs for these anymore. Which really sucks because these are games that are really expensive. Speaking of really expensive, Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, which I thankfully do have the disc for. This is my most expensive game. Which feels really weird because this is a game that sold very well. And should not, let me just say this. This should not be a $100 game. It's ridiculous that this is a $100 game. And it's ridiculous that this is the game that's most expensive. How is this more expensive than Power Stone? A game released for a failed console that is like one of the most essential games to have for that console. It probably sold okay back in the day, but it was also a Dreamcast game, so couldn't have sold that great. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But that's my most expensive game. And then there's Star Wars Rogue Leader, which I bought relatively recently. I really want to play that, but I still haven't played Rogue Squadron. A Fake Case for Mario Sunshine, a WrestleMania game, and Turok. Don't really care. Just recently bought Donkey Kong Country Returns for the Wii because I've been recently playing through all the Donkey Kong Country games. I think this is the part where I should say this. Yeah, Crazy Cat's Plays is kind of going on suspension because it's gotten really, really tiring recording and trying to edit through all of that stuff. When the views are at best variable, and I haven't gone back to rewatch these as much as I thought I would. And to be honest, I've never found them to be very entertaining videos. So, my last stuff was Donkey Kong Country 2. I might have recorded some Donkey Kong Country 3, but starting with Returns, I didn't record it all. But yeah, I've played through 100% of Donkey Kong Country Returns. It was a lot of fun. Really like the Wii version. Surprised at how hard it is, but it was a fun time. And then Epic Mickey, which is a game I've heard things about. I'm going to try it. My original copy of LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. It's my oldest surviving game. I still have this. My original copy from when I got my Wii back in 2008. You Super Mario Brothers Wii, there's no disc in here. I have the case, I have the manual, no disc. And for whatever reason, discs of that game are pricier than I'd like to pay for a disc on the Wii. So I have yet to do so. Then we go down here for the rest of my Wii games. Wii Party, Wii Play, Super Hero Mario, Smash Bros. Brawl. Wii Play, I literally just got from a friend for free. And it doesn't work, but it's a complete in-box copy of Wii Play. Okay. Wii Party, had that when I was younger. It was a good party game with Mom. I haven't played in years, though. Super Paper Mario. Been playing through that lately. On, like, rare occasions. It's an okay game. I think it's really carried by its dialogue, its story. The gameplay is fine, which is enough. I mean, it's obviously not as good as the Thousand Year Door, the original game, but it's okay. You know something? I just realized I skipped through N64. Oops. Yeah, my N64 collection isn't that big. It's mainly, I have Banjo-Kazooie, but I want to play it on the Xbox. GoldenEye 007, which hasn't aged that well. Mario Party and Mario Party 3 and Mario Party 2 is in the system. I really like Mario Party 3. That's the reason I keep the system around. Shadows of the Empire, Super N64, because only the best games deserve to be in this collection. Episode 1 Racer. I've heard it's a great multiplayer game. I've yet to play it with anybody, though. So, Toy Story 2. Which Toy Story 2 is a great game, but I beat that on PC, actually. Quest 64, which is not a great game, and Yoshi's Story, which I've yet to really dive into. There's the N64 games. Okay. And Wii U. Batman Arkham City. Once again, same thing with the Batman Arkham Asylum. I own it. Haven't gotten to it. Captain Toad's Treasure Tracker. Got this game pretty close to when it released. Still haven't played it to completion. I really should. This is like, I still think the Wii U version is the way to play it, because the Switch version was done a little weird with its pointer. However, there's exclusive content on the Switch version with DLC that never released on Wii U, which is kind of annoying. 2 LEGO games. I own both of those on Steam. I've actually played through LEGO Movie. Have not played through LEGO Star Wars. The levels in this game are too damn long. They are way, way too damn long. It's like 30 to 40 minutes sometimes if you play these games the way I do. Mario and Sonic at the Sochi 2014 Olympic Winter Games. I got that game when I was going through my whole saga of trying to replace the Wii U. And one of the Wii U's I ended up buying came with that game. It was not the Wii U I ended up using because it bricked during setup, but hey, I got a Mario and Sonic game out of it. If only it was the one that's actually worth some money on the system. New Super Mario Bros. U, my original copy. I think New Super Mario Bros. Games get maligned way too much. Way, way too much. Nintendo Land, I think it's a great party game. I think it's like the reason to have a Wii U more than anything else. Pikmin 3, which is a great game. Really excited for Pikmin 4. Rayman Legends, which is another fantastic game. I'd love to play that again sometime. Sonic Lost World, it's a decent Sonic game. I think that one gets a little too much hate. Scribblenauts Unlimited, great game. 3D World, Smash Brothers, Twilight Princess. which is a pretty expensive game I got a good deal on. Same deal with Wii Party U. Yoshi's Woolly World, which is a 2D platformer that I really need to play. It's like one of the greatest games on Wii U. That's still on. I mean, it's on 3DS, but that version's not as good. You want the Wii U version, and I still haven't played it. I still need to play that game. Absolute insanity. Next up is the Switch games. Alright, went ahead and removed the Switch from here so I could get a better look at the Switch games. First, reasons I will not be going over in this video, I lost most of my original Switch games. The ones that are here, all except for one, are rebuys. First is Cruisin' Blast. During vacation, played that game, a decent bit in the arcades with Mom. It's a pretty fun racing game, pretty crazy, pretty intense, and there's a Switch version, so got it on the Switch. You get the Disney Classic Games collection, which includes Lion King and Aladdin, and now Jungle Book. Not as interested in Jungle Book, but figured I might as well get the version with Jungle Book, because same price, better value, why not? But yeah, it has both versions of Aladdin, both versions of Lion King, and those are classic Disney games that are usually praised. Lion King less so, because of difficulty, but both games are very highly praised, and at some point I like to play them. And I own them. Once again, this was before I got an actual Super Nintendo and Genesis. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, I got that game on Wii U the day it released. It was the last thing I ever bought from Toys R Us. And I never beat the game on Wii U. And I either sold it or lost it on Wii U. And so I had to re-get it on Switch. And now I've finally been playing through it. And it's a great game. I'm kind of annoyed that I didn't play it for so long, but also it is a hard enough game to where there is no way younger me would have been able to actually beat that game. That final boss is a fucking pain in the ass. It goes on too long. Way too long. And there's an attack in it that is a total beginner's trap. I will not believe you if you say you beat the final boss of Tropical Freeze on your first try. You're lying if you say that. But it was a really good game. Then the two Kirby games, Forgotten Land, played last year. It was my game of the year of last year. It was such a good 3D platformer, and it makes me really, really look forward to, what's next in the Kirby series. And then what's next was a remaster of a Wii game, Return to Dreamland. I got that. I think that's the newest game in the collection. And I haven't played it much, but I played the original game on Wii. I think through GameFly, actually. And I eventually bought it digitally on Wii U. I've beaten it. It's been a long time, though. And it's a really good game. I've been having a lot of fun with my revisit to it through the remaster. And I'm very excited for the new content. The Magalore epilogue. It seems like it'll be pretty cool. And I've heard really, really good things about it. Now back to the shelf. Mario Kart 8. It's Mario Kart. If you can get more of my thoughts on my videos on Mario Kart 8. If you want I should rephrase that. If you want more of my thoughts on Mario Kart 8, watch my Mario Kart 8 videos. My Mario Kart 8 Deluxe videos in particular. Then Mario Party Superstars, which did some videos on that. That game is awesome. Finally, NDCube, after years of screwing up with Mario Party, finally figured out how to make a good Mario Party game. And they did it by using a bunch of old content. But they figured it out. And hopefully, of course I've been hoping for DLC. That hasn't happened. So hopefully the next Mario Party they do is an original game with new boards and new minigames. But it's the same formula from Superstars. That's what I want. That's what I'm hoping for. We'll see what they do. NDCube, they've been doing better. Super Mario Party was also a big step in the right direction. Of course, this one's been great. So hopefully, they keep it up. Then, my PAL game, Miitopia. Sometimes when you order on Amazon, you just get a PAL copy. I don't know why. Same thing happened the last time I had to get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because yeah, Mario Kart 8's a rebuy. Uh, and my first Mario Kart 8 was a PAL copy. Now I have an NTSC, but of course, right afterwards, I get a PAL copy of Miitopia, which I got because this is one of those late 3DS games that I wanted to try but never got to because it was a late 3DS game. I just realized this is not where it should be on the shelf. Miitopia should be before... well, no. Yeah, it should be after Mario Golf. It wasn't for some reason, which I guess is an opportunity to segue to that. Mario Golf Super Rush. I have had that game for a while. It is really good. I really like that Mario Golf game. I know there's been a lot of people who don't like any of the sports games that have come out on Switch. And to be fair, I haven't played as much of like Toadstool Tour, but Mario Golf Super Rush is like really good, and it's got a decent amount of content now that all the updates have been done. And me and Mom have had a lot of fun with it. I don't get the hate for this one. Maybe on release, because I'm sure it was a lot worse on release, but now it's a pretty competent game, and I've been having fun with it. And I did like Mario Tennis, even though I don't have that one anymore. I think the Mario Tennis on Switch is good, even if there's not too much to it. Namco Museum Arcade Pack. I have that for the fabled day when whatever Switch successor comes out. I get that, and then I have 2 Switches so I can play Pac-Man Versus on it. That is literally the reason I own that. I mean, it also has Championship Edition too, but I have that on Steam now, and it has a bunch of other classic arcade games. But the reason I have it is because of that. I want to play Pac-Man Versus on the Switch. And I'm waiting for the opportunity to present itself. It hasn't yet. At this point, it probably will be when the Switch successor comes out, because we're thinking it's going to be early next year. So, as long as it's backwards compatible, that's what we're doing. I really want to do that, because I love Pac-Man Versus on GameCube. But it's such a pain because of I don't have my GameCube hooked up anymore, so a lot of reasons there. Next up, Switch Sports. Doesn't have a lot of content, but I got it anyway because me and Mom love the bowling. And the bowling in Switch Sports is really good. We haven't played as much as we would like, but it's a great version of it. And also, it came with a big box, which is over there. Let's see if I can zoom in. Yeah, there we go. And big boxes are fun. So... next is Origami King, which I bought new for $30 for my rebuy. $30. Damn. I finally finished that game. I think it is a decent game, but it underwhelms me in a lot of ways. The battle system, I think, gets a little too much hate from some people. I think the battle system's okay. What I don't like is... it occasionally delves into the cryptic shit. Some of the minigames are kind of annoying. And man, some of these characters are just wasted. Captain T.O., they build up so much, that character. And then when you finally get him on your team for an entire chapter, he doesn't do shit. He occasionally does repeated quips while you're sailing. But that's it. And the game builds him up as a significant character, and he has a cool look to him. Why is he so underwhelming? I don't get it, and it's kind of my impression of the game. I think it's definitely a step in the right direction compared to Sticker Star and Color Splash, but it's still not the Paper Mario game I would ideally want. But I did beat it. That means the only Paper Mario game I've never finished is Color Splash. And considering that game is raising in price... probably will never beat it unless it's through piracy, because that is not a game I am going to buy because I do not like what I played of it back when it came out through totally legal means. And I don't think I would enjoy that game. I really don't. I know a lot of people, including some notable Sticker Star detractors, like the game, but I played the first few hours of that game when it came out, and I never saw it. Maybe it gets better, but from when I played, it was just, oh yeah, that's Sticker Star, but that's enough Paper Mario ranting for now. Once again, video stopped, started again. All the Mario games for the system, 3D All-Stars, 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, and Odyssey. 3D All-Stars is the one game I did not have to rebuy because it was this game that was in the system around the time circumstances happened. But I have that game, and it was expensive too. Like that's the game that's expensive. Well, sort of. It's still $60, and because of the print situation, it probably will go up, even though there's like 10 million of them out there or something crazy. It'll still probably go up because it's Nintendo. The 30 million selling New Super Mario Bros. Wii is a $20-$30 game nowadays. And people don't care about New Super Mario Bros. Wii these days. But yet, it is a pricey game for some stupid reason. Of course, all the GameCube games, so I'm sure that even though it's sold very well, 3D All-Stars is going to be a expensive game in the future, which is stupid. But yeah, it's obviously not an ideal way to play these games. Obviously, there's emulation and PC stuff that, at least for Sunshine 64, will get you better results. I do think it's the best way to play Galaxy. Because, I mean, yeah, there's some shenanigans with the pointer, but other than that, it looks a lot better. And trying to get that same setup on Dolphin, all you're going to do is match it at best, and it's going to be an absolute hassle to do. So I don't think it's worth it. Sunshine's a bit more manageable. There's definitely better ways to play that with 60 FPS, and of course the Sunburn mod, which I still want to try out, that fixes the game's problems. And then 64 with a PC decompilation that's been ported to many systems through Homebrew, but of course it's also on PC. And that's probably the best way to play 64. So it's not an ideal way, but it's still a pretty good way. It's still the best official way. I would say that. It's the best official way to play the games. It was fun playing through them all back in 2020 again. I still think Galaxy is my least favorite of those, which I've gone over a little bit on Twitter before, but they're Mario games, mainline Mario games. They're good. They're all good except Lost Levels. And then 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Even though I own the original 3D World, I keep that one around only because there's a significant speed increase in the Switch version, which is the weirdest change I think I've ever seen. And there are instances playing it where you can tell, like, that don't seem right. Like, most of the times when you jump for the flagpole, you'll, like, jump over it and you'll gravitate towards it, which feels like a very, like, patchwork way of not changing the level design despite making you faster, and thus your jumps are farther. It's weird. It took me a lot of time getting used to playing in 3D World again, and I really like 3D World. I think I actually prefer it to Galaxy. And then there's Bowser's Fury, which it's the reason I bought that version. I wouldn't have bought that if it didn't have that, because I have it on Wii U. Why would I buy it again? But Bowser's Fury, I think, was very much worth a repurchase. And it was a great opportunity to replay 3D World. I still think Bowser's Fury was a little weird with its structure. It's this weird hodgepodge of traditional, like collectathon 3D Mario with 3D World, and I'm not sure it works perfectly. It's sort of the same issue I have with Galaxy, to where it's merging linear and collectathon Mario, and I don't think it's as graceful when they're kind of hodgepodge together. I think linear Mario thrives when it's just linear Mario, like 3D World. And I think collectathon Mario thrives when it's just collectathon Mario, which is Odyssey, Sunshine 64. I get all those games have like sprinklings of linear Mario in them, but they're mostly like the collectathon stuff. So maybe that's a weird take, but that's my take. And then Odyssey, which I think is probably my favorite Mario game. I need to play it again. The one thing I was never as big of a fan of is the controls. I think the controls in Sunshine are a lot better. Still, I think Sunshine is the best controlling 3D Mario game. And that is my second favorite. Because of those controls. They're so satisfying to use. It's a pretty big deal in the Mario games, because it determines all those fancy jumps you can do. And I was never able to get the hang of all the fancy stuff that you were able to do in Odyssey, the way a lot of people were able to. So, yeah. Then Smash Bros. Ultimate and Tetris 99, of course, Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's not much to say. I mean, it's probably the last time I was like really hyped for a new game that was coming out. To be fair, Smash Wii U was like the real hype period. But yeah, I also glossed over that. I have that on Wii U as well. But like Smash 4 was a super hype period. It's probably the most hype I ever got for a video game. But I mellowed out so much in recent years, and plus Smash Bros. Ultimate was like the second hype cycle I got through with Smash Bros. So I think it was inevitably not going to be as big. And honestly, I don't think the hype cycle for Ultimate in general, like Nintendo just didn't hype it the way they did for Wii U and 3DS because it was a much shorter reveal to release. But I've gotten plenty of hours out of Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I do wish the story mode was better. I still think Subspace Emissary is the best it was ever, which they should be able to top that, in my opinion. Also, certain stages didn't come back that should have. There's one Star Fox one in Wii U that didn't come back. Pac Maze didn't come back from 3DS, and I don't think Rainbow Road from 3DS came back either. And those are all like fantastic stages that really should have been in there. And despite us getting a shitload of DLC, they never thought to add those stages back in. I don't get why, but that is the entire left shelf. Also, Tetris 99. I don't own that game anymore, but because it's a digital game through NSO, I still keep the box because on the shelf because I mean I do own Tetris 99. It's just digitally. A similar logic for all the other games. It's like I owned them at one point, like the Mario Party games and New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Like I owned them at one point. I have the case. I have the manual. I have evidence that I did at one point have these games, and I think that counts for something. Maybe it doesn't for certain people, but yeah, that's the entire left shelf. The bottom is pretty much just for excess. There's some VHS tapes, some pictures, some of the books that I had to clear out of all of this, and some music CDs. But that's pretty much it for the left shelf. Now for the right shelf. And here we are on the right shelf. Well, the right bookcase. There's plenty of shelves on this bookcase. Gonna try and be a little briefer on here since most of these I went over already in the 2021 video, I believe. I'm gonna try and focus on ones that I have gotten since then. If there's something I skip over that you are interested in hearing anything about, go back and watch the 2021 video. Now, real quick, 2 film collections. I believe those are the first 2 Conjurings and Shawshank Redemption and Green Mile. The first Conjuring we watched during Halloween last year, I believe. I enjoyed it. It was a decent movie. Don't believe that's a true story, but it was a decent movie. And haven't watched the rest. Do plan on it. Mom really wants me to watch Shawshank and Green Mile, and I want to watch them. Problem is they're very long movies, which is difficult for our schedules. Because you really got to be in the mood for a 3-hour movie. Unless it's Titanic, in which case, always in the mood for that. But in all seriousness, do want to watch those. Now, Pixar, I believe pretty much all this Disney stuff, I think, had last time. I think Aladdin and Mulan, those might be new. But, I mean, they're just Disney movies. Have a pretty significant collection thanks to the Disney Movie Club. Which I think if you're wanting to collect Disney Blu-rays, as long as you're not super invested in getting 4Ks, like, I think you should join Disney Movie Club. Because essentially you can get, like, 5 free movies on Blu-ray. And you have to buy 3 over a span of 2 years. Now, those 3 are going to be a little inflated compared to buying them at like Amazon or Best Buy. But either way, you're still getting quite the deal. And it'll save you a lot of money on collecting Disney Blu-rays. It's how we managed to build up so many, for not paying that much. Now to Ghibli, we've been a little slow on getting through these, unfortunately. I think we've only added think they might have added Kiki, but I think that might have been there last time. Only Yesterday and Porco Rosso got added, though. I know those two weren't there. Not as much of a fan of Only Yesterday. I've heard a lot of great things about that one, but that one just did not connect with either me or Mom. We both found it a little boring. Sorry to anyone who's a big fan of that, but we weren't that into it. But we did enjoy Porco Rosso. That was a fun little action-y sort of movie. And in case Kiki wasn't discussed last time, I really enjoyed this movie too. Compared to Totoro, I think I like it more. They're sort of doing something similar with the chill vibe. Obviously, they're very different plots, but they're both not as actiony as like a first two, which are still my favorite. I still think these are my favorite Ghibli movies so far. But yeah, we've been a bit slow on getting through these, but I want to speed that up. I also got Duel recently. This is Spielberg's very first movie. I want to watch through them all at some point. So now, got the very first one. I think all the Harry Potter films are new. I haven't watched those in years. Mom's a big fan. Me, not as much, but I want to watch them again. I know J.K. Rowling's been not the best person lately. But these were bought, I think, before all that shit happened. I'm not actually sure. I'm not. I have to check on that. At least I think we got these before I heard about all that shit. Well, I'm also the sort of person that's like separate the art from the artist. I mean, trust me. Most of the shit on these shelves, there are some pretty shitty people involved in the productions of most of them, is my take. I'm not defending J.K. Rowling here. I'm not defending my choice to get these. And to be frank, I don't even know if I like these movies. I haven't watched them again yet. I haven't watched these since like the early 2000s when I was young. So I have no idea if these movies are really any good, but we have them. They're in the collection. They've already been paid for. It doesn't hurt anybody to watch them. That's our original copy of Half-Blood Prince. I don't know if we had this on the shelf last time. Home Alone 2, I think, is new. Really like both Home Alone movies. I think they're both equal. They both have their own strengths and weaknesses. I like both of them. First two volumes of Hunter x Hunter on Blu-ray. It's probably, I mean, I've only watched like a few animes, so not saying much, but it's my favorite anime. And I really want to have it all in physical. The problem is there's just so much. It's so expensive, and there's like 7 volumes, and they're all like $30 each. So it's going to be a slow burn getting them all, but I want to get them all at some point. Ready Player One. I think SpongeBob's new. This is essentially just a 3-pack containing the first 3 movies. Got this because we were curious about Sponge on the Run. It wasn't that great, but I still really like the first 2. Hot take, I think Sponge on Water is the better of the 2 overall. First 2. So it's by a slight margin because there's parts of the second movie that I don't think hold up the best. The whole time travel sequence, I think, is just too weird for SpongeBob. But, I know, too weird for SpongeBob. But I think it's really weird, the last, the time travel bit. I think the superhero bits are a lot of fun. I think the opening third is a lot of fun. I really like those over the first movie. Even though the first movie is more consistently good, I don't think there's really a dull moment in the first movie. It's definitely more nostalgic. I will say that. But I think both the first and second movie are really good. The third, not so much. But the 3-movie collection might still be worth getting because of the price. I think it's pretty affordable. We didn't pay much for it. And it was pretty nice seeing the first 2 movies on Blu-ray for the first time, especially the first one. Ah, they look so good. Star Trek movies on the second shelf. We got those from, I believe, my papa. Still need to watch them. They're not really ours. We're going to give them back whenever we do get to them. Which we really need to get to that. We really do. Still haven't done it. And then Clone Wars, Lost Missions. Wanted to get the entire series on Blu-ray, but some of those seasons are really expensive. I think it was season 5 in particular that's like really expensive. So we just watched most of it on Disney Plus. And I really enjoyed finally getting through Clone Wars. We finally got through the entire series, including season 7, and it was really good. I still think there were some low points. I still don't think it redeems the prequels like some say they do. As a matter of fact, there were some points I think that actually made them worse. As much as I enjoyed watching the, I think it's the season 6 clone arc where the Order 66 arc in season 6. I like that arc, but I think it makes everything even more stupid because of how close they came to finding everything out. But whatever, And lastly, I think Never Ending Story. I don't know, Willow too, but those were more her mom movies she grew up with that she wanted me to watch. I will admit, wasn't super into either of them personally. She still loves them, and I'm glad for her that she has them, and she can watch them whenever she wants. And I'm glad I watched them, but I didn't get super into either movie. And that is the Blu-rays. Now for the very tiny Xbox 360 collection. There are 3 games over there. But, well, there's Quantum of Solace, which is just a Bond game. I think it's made by the Call of Duty devs, and it feels very similar to Call of Duty from the couple of minutes I played of it to test to make sure it worked. Main Ninjas, which I shouldn't have bought because it was on sale for like $1 on Steam the day I bought it. But yeah, I have it physically, and it's like a platforming style game, and I want to try it at some point. And hey, the PC version's not perfect, so maybe I end up playing it on 360 anyway. And then lastly, Wally. The reason I got this system is I want to let's play this game again, and this is the definitive version. Well, I shouldn't say definitive. There's problems with all versions of this game. There's no real definitive version, but this is the best version of Wally for the 7th generation consoles. And I want to let's play that. I got everything I need to. I just need to feel like doing it. And I have these here, mainly 2 species apart. Got a few Star Wars CDs in here, the whole sequel trilogy and Empire. Want to get the prequels as well, because the music's really good in every single one of these movies, in my opinion. I think Episode 1, Episode 3 has some really good soundtracks, in particular. Not as into Episode 2, but they're good soundtracks. But yeah, and that is the Blu-ray collection. Alright, and now the Xbox games, the original Xbox. Most of this was here last time, but it has grown. As you can see, it now actually fills the whole shelf. I even reorganized it. Now it's fully alphabetical, except the Platinum Hits games are together. So yeah, most of these I'm not going to go over because they were here last time. Let's start with Blinks and Blinks 2. I played this as Crazy Cats plays the first one last year. It's a copy of the game that's in what I would consider immaculate condition. I mean, looks nice, and it's complete in box, though it's original. It's the original version, which usually doesn't mean anything, but I really enjoy this game, but this is a really, really hard game. And this is the harder version of it because I got the black version. The Platinum Hits is made significantly easier. A lot of enemy health was dropped. A lot of the prices for certain items you need are down. In general, the Platinum Hits version of this game is a lot easier, and at points it can feel kind of unfair and kind of bullshit in this game. Still had a lot of fun with it. It's really hard, like I said, but I beat it, and I'm pretty proud that I did. Now this one's even more immaculate. This is pretty much perfect condition. Blinks 2 Masters of Time and Space. Haven't gotten to this game yet. I actually bought this game sealed. It was sealed. But I opened it. Because I don't see any point in keeping a game I want to play sealed. I just got it sealed because it was a decent price for a sealed copy of the game. And it's apparently 2-player. May play it with Clip at some point. Either way, need to get to this. Just haven't yet. So I really like the first Blinks. I don't think I want... Did I have the Capcom collection last time? If I did, I didn't go over it. It's got a decent amount of games in it. Here's the list. The main one is that it has all the Ghosts and Goblins games. Yeah, it doesn't show Super Ghouls and Ghosts on the list, but Super Ghouls and Ghosts is in this one. So that's the main reason I have it, is for all the Ghosts and Goblins games. Also, 1942, a shmup I'd like to try it at some point. Yeah, I know it has Street Fighter 2 in it, but I'm not super into those kinds of fighters. Conflict Desert Storm, I got with the 360. Not really a game I would buy otherwise, but I have it. Yeah, I got it for free, so can't complain too much. Yeah, most of these were here. Dr. Muto, I think, is new. Wish the condition on this one was a little better, but this is a 3D platformer from the 6th generation. Want to try it at some point. I'm very curious about this game because Nitrorad didn't talk about it much in his video on the game, which is where most of the 3D platformer inspiration happened here. I think I had iNinja last time. Lemony Snicket, The Series of Unfortunate Events, a movie game. I like the movie. Game's probably nowhere near as good, but it's also like $6. And I have a weird fascination with these less than amazing movie games. I believe I had Midway Arcade Treasures last time. Panzer Dragoon Orta. I think I had most of these. Here. Except Sonic Mega Collection Plus, which this is the reason I not freaking out about having physical copies of Sonic 2 or Sonic 3. Because this technically is a physical copy of Sonic 2 and Sonic 3. Along with all the other Sonic games for the Genesis. Along with a number of Game Gear games. I'm the sort of person who does not mind having a compilation game over the original game. Because it's still a physical game. You know, and it still has it, so the only difference is it doesn't have the original box or original thing, but I usually don't care about that, so yeah, have Sonic Mega Collection Plus. And that satisfies me with physically having the Genesis Sonic games. Battle for Bikini Bottom is also new. Of course, I have Rehydrated, but I also wanted to get a copy of the original game as well. Because there are differences. I think both versions are worth playing, and I wanted to have the original game on the Xbox. I used to have it on GameCube, but wanted to upgrade to the Xbox version. Similar story with Incredibles here. I was skipping ahead a second. Just upgraded to the Xbox version. Of course, I did a Let's Play on it as well, so I'm not going to talk about it too much here, but yeah, upgraded to the Incredibles on Xbox over the GameCube version. Also have Rise of the Underminer. I think this one is also new since last time. Played this off the channel. It's like 3 hours long. It's fine. It's an okay beat 'em up with a friend. Probably deathly boring without one. Next was Jedi Starfighter. Also got this one sealed. Still haven't gone through it. Need to. Play through the first Starfighter mostly. Didn't do the final mission because I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't get it. I couldn't do it. But I'm gonna try Jedi Starfighter, and then there's Monkey Ball, which also might be new. I'm not sure if I had this one, but yeah, I like Monkey Ball, and this is 1 and 2 for way cheaper than they are on the GameCube. I know some people say the GameCube controller is way better for Monkey Ball, but it can't be like as much better as the extra cost I would need to pay to get GameCube copies. So, got Monkey Ball Deluxe for the Xbox. It's also a widescreen game. Looks really good. Still haven't gotten to it, but plan to soon. And then I believe last, well, I think Vex might be new as well. Got most of the platformers now. This condition's really ugly. I really don't like the condition on this one, but I have it. I still need to get to that one. And last, certainly not least, is Burnout 3. Did a video on this one, so take a look at that video if you want more of my thoughts on Burnout 3. But yeah, I have Burnout 3. It's the Platinum Hits version, but it's in pretty decent shape. Now, down there is the cases for Switch games I still have that I plan to rebuy. I want to get Clubhouse Games, I want to get Super Mario Party, I want to get Luigi's Mansion 3, I want to get Breath of the Wild again. So, a decent amount. This is the controller stack, which does not have room for all the controllers because, I mean, there was like, how many? Switch, and yeah, there are like 9 different consoles, each with their own controllers, and Some consoles take multiple controllers, like the Wii U, which also takes Wii remotes. So, and that's quite a lot. Not to mention the unhooked up NES and GameCube. Alright, and last, this is a small edition. The Plush couch. Pretty much most of my plushes here, so this is the Plush collection. Most of the guys from Plush Mario, plus a number of new ones. Of course, got a Cuphead plush, got a Morgana plush, got this little Koopa shell, got Knuckles, got Tails, Tails and Sonic were in the original. Got a Wario, got a Classic Sonic, got a Baby Yoda, got a Captain Toad. Yeah, briefly showing these. Also the Dalmatians blanket that you get every time you sign up with Disney Movie Club, which because we've done that multiple times, we have way too many Dalmatians blankets that we don't know what to do with. Also the Mario 3D All-Stars posters. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Briefly go over the handhelds, which I have just sitting here, my GBA and my 3DS, my original 3DS XL, the games for the 3DS, which are mostly just my childhood games, the Marios and stuff. Yeah. That's pretty much it for the video. I'm gonna do another shoot upstairs for the 4Ks and for the PlayStation 5 games I have. Because, yeah, I also have a PlayStation 5. That's another new edition. But, yeah, gonna show that soon. Alright, here we are upstairs with the PS5 and 4K collection. Now, you'll notice this isn't ideal. See, this entertainment stand is, let's just say, I wasn't involved in the purchasing of this. I wanted to be. I even gave them a suggestion for like one that would work, and they got one at a store that would take like 2 months to arrive, but they said, oh, you'll definitely like it, oh, it's great, it's perfect. And then it's this, and it can't fit anything the way it should be. This PS5 game can't go in. Can't go in here either. Only place they can go down like that is here. And the problem with down there is, well, I'm on the floor right now. I can't reach down here from standing up. So, this is extremely unideal. I don't like this entertainment center, and someday I'd like to get a different one. But if there's one good thing, the PS5 fits perfectly okay in here. Unfortunately, the sun gives me concerns about sun fading, but there's nothing I can do right now about it. So I just have to live with this until whenever a situation arises to where we can get a different entertainment center, because I don't like this one at all. But besides that, a very, very small PS5 collection so far. Kingdom Bridge of Spirits, Sackboy Big Adventure, Sonic Frontiers, Stray, and of course Astro's Playroom as well. Played through that on the channel a little bit. And I really like that game. And I really like Sonic Frontiers. I've been enjoying all of these games. Haven't gotten too far in most of them. I've gotten a few hours into Kena. And that's a difficult game for me. Kind of from Softy, maybe. But it's difficult for me. But I'm enjoying it. Sackboy is very 3D World-esque. I'm not a super big fan of the controls, but it's fun. And there's a Stray, which I barely played at all yet. So, holding out opinions there. And here's a full look at the 4K collection. There's some Blu-rays here because Game of Thrones isn't my thing. This is actually my grandparents who got these. They still haven't watched Season 8. They have it here. They've had this for probably over a year now, and they still haven't watched it yet. But, yeah, so we got Dr. Sleep, which I actually enjoyed more than The Shining, watching both of those movies. So we don't have The Shining. We watched that through, like, rental. But Dr. Sleep's pretty good. Back to the Future. Love those movies. Unfortunately, this set is packaged really annoyingly, and those discs do not work, and we still need to replace them. Air Force One. I watched it on Hulu, and I liked it enough that I wanted to get it on 4K. It's a relatively affordable 4K, and that's what we did. And 2001 Space Odyssey, still need to watch that. I've heard that's a really good-looking 4K. 1917, it was a really fun war movie. I don't know, I'd say fun, but it was really good. It was a really good war movie. No Time to Die in Casino Royale. Casino Royale I only got because I needed to replace my Blu-ray copy because we lost it, and I figured I might as well get the 4K, even though there's not really much of an upgrade on the 4K disc. No Time to Die, really liked that movie. It's, uh, I think I prefer Casino Royale and Skyfall over it, but it's still a really good Bond movie. The two modern Halloween movies, really liked the first one. Halloween Kills was okay. Wasn't too big a fan of it. Also, that's another disc that gave us issues, was Halloween Kills, fortunately. Wreck-It Ralph, which I got for free. It's not much of a 4K upgrade, but it's a good movie, and I got it for free through Disney Movie Rewards. Raya and the Last Dragon. I've seen that movie get some hate, but me and Mom enjoyed it okay. Then all of Pixar's movies that I deem necessary to own on 4K. Luca, Soul, Onward, Toy Story 4, and Coco. Don't have Lightyear, because I've heard that movie isn't that great. And obviously don't have Cars 3 or anything too crazy, but these are the Pixar movies I want to have in 4K. I really like each and every one of those movies, even Toy Story 4, which I know has gotten some hate from some people. I thought it was a really good ending to the series. But now we're getting Toy Story 5, so I guess it's not the ending of the series anymore. Home Alone. So do I need to say anything about Home Alone? I don't need to. Hook. Grew up watching that movie. Don't know if it's any good, but it's Spielberg. And I want to watch it again at some point. Indiana Jones Smart Movie Collection. That cost more than I'd like to say. But, I mean, those are amazing movies. The three of them, anyway. And I don't think the fourth one's terrible. But, yeah. Glad to have that. Still haven't watched them on 4K yet, but I want to. Knives Out. I thought that was a great movie. I'm still hoping that we get a physical of Glass Onion. Watched it on Netflix, and it was really, really good. And I'd like to place it right next to Knives Out. Peanuts Holiday Collection. Got that when it looked like I think it was the ABC debacle where it wasn't going to be on ABC, and then it got reversed. We bought it during that time period. Detective Pikachu, which was a pretty good video game movie, and it's actually next to the two Sonic movies, which I think both are really good, especially Sonic 2. Then you can't really see it there, but Speed, which is probably one of my favorite 90s action movies that I've seen. Keep in mind, I haven't seen that many of them, but I really like Speed. Then there's the Star Wars movies, the old complete saga set, and then the 3 sequel movies, all on 4K Steelbook. Well, The Force Awakens was the original Blu-ray Steelbook, but I got a 4K copy and just put the 4K stuff in The Force Awakens. I really like the entire sequel trilogy. Even Rise of Skywalker, it's not amazing, and it's not how I would have ended it, but I enjoy the movie fine enough. And the only movies I really do not like are 1 and 2. I think 1 and 2 are just not that good. Also, I'm not super into Rogue One. Not super into it. Call of the Wild. That was my grandparents got that one. I haven't watched it. It's not really my thing. Goonies. I think it was a pretty good movie. Lost Boys. It's an okay movie. Top Gun. Not a great movie, but I've heard the sequel is like really, really good. So that is pretty much the 4K collection. The idea here is I don't have any PS4 games yet, but I'll have them on the left side. Have PS5 games on the right. God, this place needs to be dusted. But, yeah. I don't have many PS5 games yet. But, do plan on getting more. It's just, like I said, I hate that this is the set that it's on. I really hate that. But, I can't do anything about it. I'm not the one that makes money around here, so I don't get to make these decisions, which sucks sometimes, because sometimes these decisions really suck, but whatever. That is the 4K and PS5 stuff. Yeah, otherwise, that's it for my March 2023 game collection overview. Hope you all enjoyed. It's been quite a big edition.